Alrighty, folks, what's going on? This should be hopefully a little bit better now. I had to do a few reboots and a few other things to make some things a little less hectic on the back end. So that was user error, not any piece of technology in particular. Now, as they always say, the problem is usually between the keyboard and the chair. And in this particular point, it was between the keyboard and the chair. Ooh, excuse me. Alright, there we go. So, social's out. We'll get on to all the other stuff. Honestly, I'm not sure how the audio mixing is going to be on this because sometimes my capture card, not the hardware, actual hardware it's coming from, is an issue with the audio mixing. Okay, so it's on the capture card now. Good. All right, let's see what we got for video game options here. 720p 60. Okay. We got full screen window, keyboard config settings. So there are really no video graphics options for this besides resolution and, display stuff, which is fine, whatever. Like, I'm not expecting a ton of amazing things there. We'll go on the new game. We'll go on the easy. Oh, cool. That's nice. They at least allow you to change the difficulty anytime during the game. So, for those that don't know, I'm not honestly sure if this is a sequel or if this is a prequel. Like, as far as there are two other games, there's Fairy Fancer F, and there's Fairy Fancer F. I believe it's Advent Dark Forces, I think. And I'm not sure if it's a prequel, sequel to any of that, a retelling, a reimagining, etc. I honestly don't know any of that. What I can tell you is this is a strategy RPG, which is not like the original games, which were turn-based games, turn-based traditional JRPGs. and honestly, the only one I actually played. I do have Fairy Fans or F. I played its, I guess, pseudo sequel, like improved it. Like I can't. Some of the additions that they have for some of the stuff is kind of obnoxious to tell. I played Advent Dark Forces, and that was the one I played. So generically, though, it's a fan servicey kind of JRPG, like whatever. I have no idea about this one. This one is different on so many different levels from just the genres that it's in. I do know this is kind of a short notice stream. I know I probably should plug these a little more often than I do, but you know, it is what it is. So there is no English voice acting because the voice acting at the time was either, I believe it was either wait 6 to 18 months for an English dub, or just go with the Japanese voice acting. I use the term English localization very loosely. Alright, defeat German. So, ironically, this is built on Unity, so I do find that choice of graphic engine currently, given all the hubbub around Unity at the moment, interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably not gonna read a lot of this stuff because I've played enough JRPGs where it's not hard to figure out how to really manage them. Attack! Hey, look at that. Yeah, blah blah blah. Decide how you want to end your go skill. Or hey, look at that. You facing that direction. Nope, nothing there. Okay. Let's go. Nope. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is a very niche game, even amongst JRPGs. Compile Hard is either a love it or hate it kind of company. I will be the first to admit that. Personally, for me, I'm very indifferent towards tropiness and stuff. I quite enjoy some of the tropes because realistically, if you look at anything that's genre-based, it's all got tropes. Despite what certain critics will tell you. Oh, it's a trope, bruh. Sis. Everything's a trope. Hate to break it to you. Skill.
アタックエフェクト 始めますわ。一斉シャークですわ。
What the other name is singing the area.
丸あがきを手抜いたらんで。あとはほら
戦場に歌う。
俺様のファンだ。
アタックエフェクト。歯を食いしばりなさい。さてとおどきなさい。
There we go. Defeated him. Yeah.
さよならだ。
So this is the way the story's presented is going to be in a graphic, not graphic novel, visual novel style. So, you know, background, static images, conveying, you know, with voiceovers essentially. Some mix of animation stuff here and there.
あらら、目がまた同じ道。ほんと。きっかけってなんだっていいよな。明日の天気。
I mean, so far from what I've seen is that the gameplay is very, honestly, kind of straightforward for a strategy RPG. There's not a lot to it. You pick a character, pick what you're gonna do, move, attack. The squares, the red squares represent a range of your attack or your movement availability, depending on what. And then you select the skill and weight, etc. Watch and repeat. The aura thing with the refrain chord, or the muse as it is, I believe, in this game. It's just like bonuses of like, oh hey, you can heal and that kind of stuff. So pretty straightforward for a strategy RPG, not gonna lie.
どっかの誰かが
It's like these animation sequences are always, one thing I'll give Compile Heart is that they're like animation sequences like this, the music video kind of stuff is usually pretty goddamn good, not gonna lie. I wish we'd get more of these more often. We don't, unfortunately. And this is a very typical, JRPG story. Good, evil gods coming back, blah blah blah. Which one are you gonna play, essentially?
夢見る方がのように希望へと咲き誇れ魂羽ばたいて空ゆく鳥のようにこの力どこまでも届けよ遠き
Now, when I describe fan service, some people are gonna think it's the context of the female design and all that stuff. That's part of it, but the other part of it is kind of the dual innuendo humor that goes into that. So anybody who's watched the anime Desert Punk or understands the dual nature of an unedited Dragon Ball Z and Master Roshi will understand what I mean. That's essentially what most compilatory games are, which is not a bad thing. It's just fan service is usually kind of one of those things that's hard because it fills in that trope. It's like, oh, there's fan service in it. It's like, yeah, who cares? Like, whatever.
ここが牢屋じゃなけりゃもっと最高なんだけどな。ふざけんな！なんで俺がこんなところにいるんだよ！出せよこんちくしゃ！やめたよ。なんかそうアリンと最初に出会った頃も牢屋にいたんだよな。無銭飲食の疑いをかけられてあの時は妙に牢屋が居心地よくて3日いやなアリンっていうのは妖精で簡単にゼルウィンズにあった妖精武器フューリーを俺がその場のいや違うなそんな真っ当な関係じゃねえまとにかく俺はアリンと出会ったことでなんでそんなことしてるかってアリンのやつは記憶を失う正直フューリー探しは面倒だが女神をそんなご褒美があるならってことで世界を回ってるはずの俺がなぜこんな汚い牢屋にぶち込まれたのかいいだろうそもそも俺がこの町に来た理由はゼルウィンズからエンドはるばるここ財布
This is what I mean by kind of anime tropey stuff where it's like I dropped my wallet so I got lost and I got walked into jail so I took food.
そして俺フューリーとかもうどうでもいい俺の闇の中にこそ光あり絶望の淵にこそ希望あり財布をなくし金欠で俺の目に飛び込むスウィルバーチ名物すり鉢ラーメン泣いたね俺は一瞬も迷わずにラーメン屋に飛び込むすり鉢ラーメン超特売だが人生とは残酷だラーメン屋に飛び込んだあの決断がまさかさらなる悲劇続きが気になるか次回ファングス3下逃げろ
Like same through an hourglass are the days of our lives. Oh yeah, it's kind of funny.
なーにゴキブリ結局お腹いっぱいになっちゃって時間切れで食べきれずに終了払うお金もないから牢屋へ一直線ってだけじゃないはあもうファング助けに来たわよまったくいつも面倒を起こしてくれちゃって
アリン遅いんだよ
前にもでも確かに少し遅いごめん私がもう少し早く
やめろやそう深刻になるなあれ
本当になんだか随分と楽しそうだったけど
忘れろとにかくここから出せ一刻も早く抜け出せなんだ
So I do have another game from Compile Heart that was provided by compile art, by the way, email her specifically. I will be doing, and that is, if I remember correctly, I believe it's Neptunia, sister versus sister. If I remember correctly.
なんか意外だなって。
Just to see how the Steam Deck compatibility and that stuff is. I have not tested it out quite yet, so honestly I couldn't really tell you.
ああ、なるほど。
ここの強制労働はな、おにぎりを渡され。
うわ、
もう嫌だ。完全に嫌。
だね。それはゴキブリとも話し出すわけだ。
俺の苦労分かってくれたか。ならほら、さっさとここから出してくれ。俺の心が完全に壊れちまう前に。
They still have this sitting. I do like the fact that they give you a fast forward option. I mean, you can also do auto if you want.
何でも聞く感じだよね。
I do like the fact that kind of the character portraits in the visual novel stuff is there's movement, so like the eyes aren't totally focused on the words, but also like the character kind of facial animations, but facial expressions as they are and change.
そんな言い方で大丈夫なの？
待て待て待て。お前 S キャラってわけでもないだろ。無理するのは良くないぞ。
Honestly, one of my favorite compile heart games is actually Death End Request 2, which is a very dark game, not gonna lie. Really short for a JRPG, but man, is that a dark game. And that's got one hell of a awesome theme entrance that's very metal-y and stuff. Very, very, very cool. The short version of that game, at least the intro, is your main character is a 18-ish year old female who is getting beat by her parent, her father specifically. He mentally snaps and murders him with a butcher knife. Pretty damn dark to start. That's the start.
それも認めて、私をきちんと尊重すること。わかった？
Though ironically in that game, it's a very two-tone game, and its themes and its kind of caricatures of things. So it's got that anime humor, but with like a really dark main story, which it's like polar opposites. It's really hard to understand. It's like, how does this game work? But it works. It really does. And some of the monster designs, while reused, the monster designs are good.
今度はそっちが約束を守る番だ。ほら、さっさとここを開けろ。
ちょっと待っててね。
ようやくこの狭い廊下のおさらばだぜ。じゃあな、同居人のゴキブリ君たちよ。できればもう会いたくはないが、これからも元気で過ごしてくれ。いやー、出れた出れた。
ふふん、助けに来てあげた私に感謝してよね。
ああ、そういえばそうだったな。
いったー！なんで私の頭を叩いたの？
So I have not looked to see how long this game actually takes to beat.
生意気なしもべに腰を切っただけだ。
またしもべって言った。私を尊重するって約束したのに。
Oh dear lord. So Fairy Fancer F, which was on PS3, but it's also on PC, and Advent Dark Force
守る価値
is
なんて
also
ない。
on PS3 and PC. The first two are about 25 hours apiece. This game is 38 and a half hours for the main story. Yikes.
私だって頑張
This
った
might be a
んだ
long
よ。
game.
パングが食い逃げしたラーメン屋さんには。
This might be one of those games I come back to when I come back to.
ここに来る
It's a visual novel style game, so it's not hard to tell what it's for and what it's
自分
doing.
が捕まるかもしれないのにだよ。
So right now it's a lot of reading,
分かった分
or
かった
well, listening, I guess, with reading.
とにかく助けに来てくれたことは感謝する。ありがとうよ。
なんか気持ちこもってないけど。話進まないし、いいことにしておくわ。
んで、出口はどっちだ？もちろん脱出ルートも確保済みなんだろ。
へへへ。それがさ、余計なおしゃべりしてたから。
So again, these games are this style of storytelling, the style of game is
つ
very
まり監修はみんな元気いっぱいで。
par for the course for the genre. If outside of like some of the bigger budget stuff, there's very few games I can think of that don't like, especially anime styled games that don't kind of fall into the way of doing and presenting the story this way, which is much more of like a book kind of way. So it's not.
いいだよ。そこまでの元気残って
I can
ない。
understand why certain people might not be a fan of this style of story presentation and stuff.
仕方ねえ。邪魔する奴はぶちのめしてくか。
Nope. Finally a battle. So this is where like the battle preparation stuff is kind of your going to be very much in the vein of Fire Emblem Engage and Fire Emblem Three Houses and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know. I've played these games plenty, thanks.
Ore sama no番だ。
アタックエフェクト。
痛いぜ。
時間の無駄だ。
One down. Movement after actions. If you just go on. Normally you move that unit.
Ore sama no番だ。
Go.
アタックエフェクト。
一瞬で終わらせる。
Oh, wonderful.
剣撃。
行くか。
アタックエフェクト。
Alright, so as far as frame rate and stuff, you guys can tell we've been able to pretty much maintain a 60 FPS. For the most part, once a character figure is just full, fair eyes, offers, lips, got some cool smile for. That's nice.
準備はいいぜ。
Skill.
Attack effect.
てってれー。
Oh, that's not good.
気合十分だぜ。
Attack effect.
That's the most. See, this is really the only problem I have with like kind of strategy games in general is they're very one-dimensional and they're very boring to watch.
準備はいいぜ。
Attack effect.
痛いぜ。乗れ。 うずうずしてったろ、アリン。よっしゃ。
Yay, stage cleared. FP, HP, tackle RP, earn gold.
なんとか脱出できたな。やっぱりシャバ抜く。あ、アリン遅いぞ。もた。
よいしょ。
あ？それってもしかして。
So one thing I'm already saying that I can miss about kind of the first game
そう。監視に
that
取り
I
上げられ
played
てた
is that you got
ちゃんと
kind of
回収しといたんだから。
pick your poison as far as how you responded on certain
Oh,
things and
yoku
whatnot.
yatta, yoku yatta.
Kind of, there was a branching narrative. This feels very kind of singular focus, which is annoying. Because one of the perks of these kind of games is kind of like choose your own adventure kind of books as far as like the side stories and the storytelling and the character interactions and you know
バ
who's
カなこと言ってないで。あんたも
who's gonna
運び
be
なさ
your
いよ。
party of choice and that kind of stuff.
仲弱い女の子に
アリン、お前は
こういう時だけ調子いいこと言って。
分かった分かった。んで、どうすんだ。
一度ゼルウィンズに戻ろうよ。みんなも待ってるからさ。
それがいいか。さすがにゼルウィンズま、それに早くあいつらに元気な顔を見せてやって安心させてやるか。
I don't know what it is with my
別に
internet today,
心
but
細くなって
man,
ないよ。みんな好き勝手に過ごしてる。
sporadic on its bouncing around as far as its brain stuff.
そんな。
ま、ティアラもキュイもハーラーもバハス。
そうだよな。みんな本当は不安でどうしようもないけど必死に隠してるんだろう。いつもと同じ日常を送ることで。
でもそれなら私が助け。
確かに
That's
こ
what
こ
I
に
need
は
to
お
know.
前しか来なかったな。ちなみにだが、
So generically, as far as like the voice acting and stuff, it's appropriate. Bang is kind of like the main character here. He's supposed to be kind of a slacker and lazy and only cares about food. That's kind of his shtick. Aaron is a fairy, or that is a weapon that helps free the goddess, or the dark vile god, or vile, the god of darkness, essentially. That's that whole thing.
いってら
言ってらそれだけ
それだけ
本当に
本当に
ガチで
ガチのマジで
But yeah, I mean, like overall, like like this is one of those games where it's like it's going to be one of those games you really have to sit down and play, and like these aren't short time investments. So like when it comes to these games, I'm really picky about a lot of the games that like these style of games that I'll play.
みんな言って
They
らー
really do
って
have to draw me in order for me to want to play them. Not gonna lie.
ゴキブリ君たちのところに帰る
And a lot of that comes down to characters. A lot of it comes down to the writing. The only reason I'm playing the game, generically speaking, is because I like the art style for whatever reason. But I know the tropes that go with the art style, so like I don't really tend to think much of
うる
that
さいうるさいうる
in
さい
particular.
もうあんな俺はしん
ダメだってちょっと
離せこんちゃ
ああもうほらみんなの反応だってさファングのことを信頼してるから逆に少しも心配してないって感じかもだし言ってらーっていうの
だな現にこうして俺は一人の力で牢から脱出してるわけだしそれだけ信用されてるってことか
私の存在忘れてる
細かいことはいいほらゼルウィンズに帰るぞ
So realistically, I don't know how I feel about
帰
this
ったら
game.
パーティーだか
I
らな
mean,
ほんと短
it's kind of what I expect from a compile heart game. Like I said, there's very few kind of compile heart games that really jump out at me as must plays. There's been a few that I've really enjoyed. Death and Request 2. I enjoyed the first game. I played that on PS3, so that really doesn't count.
ほんなら
Dragon
皆さ
Star
ん
Varnier
我
was
らが
another
リーダーの
pretty
帰
good
還
one.
を祝って
Just because the combat was really different.
乾
One that I wanted
杯
to like, but I couldn't like, just because of the way, like, the nonsensical story presentation way was Dark Rose Valkyrie, which there's a lot to like about the game. However, there's a lot not to like about the game. Basically, it's that game's particular issue is mostly just the mission structure. A lot of the stuff is just so vaguely worded that you spend a lot of time on the world map running into things that you really don't want to constantly. And there's a lot of grinding in it because of that. And I love a good battle system. I don't mind grinding, but there's a level of holy shit. That's enough of that.
よーしお前ら今日は俺様が主役だからな
So I mean, overall, besides the initial couple of issues that I had on the
常に俺様を喜
initial
ばせることだけを考えろ
boot, I guess,
ってことでまずは一
and
つ
some of that might have been just Steam needing to be restarted, which whatever. It's not the first time I've restarted and the thing works. Happens. So, generically,
私たち
I
の
like I
代
said, I don't really have an issue with the game in and of itself. I know there's
ちょ
gonna
っ
be
と
a
待
ton of
て
reading.
キウイの言葉なんてわかるわけないだろ
Whatever.
え
I'm
ゴ
fine
キブリ
with.
の言葉は分かったのに
I'm just hoping that the actual localization isn't god awful, which
その件はもしかして
what I'm finding a lot more and more in localizations is that the context of the sentence makes no sense for what the, you know, the nature of what they might be discussing. Tone. The tone in the of what is written is different than necessarily the tone of what is being voiced.
そもそも私たちの感謝の言葉よりも
And some of that is, you know, sentence structure and all that stuff. But there's been instances of localization teams doing stupid things that are not needed. I don't need your person. Keep the creator's original intent. That's all I ask of localization teams. I don't need your intent. I need the creator's intent. Keep your own personal input out of it, please. Localize for... Your job is to localize the creator's idea, wording, and as much as humanly possible to be authentic to the source material in that regard. You can keep your own personal shit out of that work, please. That'd be greatly fucking appreciated. They're the creator, not you. Thank you for the localization, though. You are helping bring over visions to other people. I will say that.
ああ、もう無視だ無視。高慢高飛車音。
なんという暴言。
ティアラ、なんか前よりもひどうなってんな。ほら、今日はいつも
当たり前だろ。いっただきます。感動してな。嬉しいこと言って。おい、ハラ。
See, like, this is the thing I like about these games. Like, you got a big, burly, I'm guessing elf, essentially. Having the rocker look going on. Wearing a heart-shaped pink, you know, apron for cooking. Like, to me, that's cool. Like, yeah, it's like whatever. Like, it normalizes that kind of stuff. Like, hey, I don't give a shit. You do you, bro. Harley, the typical, you know, cleavage out for everybody else kind of deal. I don't remember her. I don't remember her from the other game. Yeah, definitely don't.
おう、任しとき。お肉、野菜。
バハスもマリサも自分のパートナーを甘やかしすぎだよ。あら、それはアリーさんも同じではなくて、食い逃げで捕まった。それはだってファングがだから仕方なく。
So as far as platforms, I understand. I know there's a Switch variant of this particular game. I honestly don't know the actual platforms besides PC and Switch. PS5, Switch, PS4, and Windows. Which I love that, even though it's, you know, verified for deck. But hey, you know, hey, I'll take it. If you want to think it's Windows, go right ahead.
おい、ちょっと待て。今聞き逃せない言葉があったぞ。
One second. Need to look at YouTube Studio. Oh no, that's... Linux fandom, that is fine.
リーダーの
ポジティブ。ティアナがそう発言し、アリンも同意した。そしてその判断は間違っていない。
Okay, listen, Linux fans. Your distro of choice does not necessarily, for you, does not make it the right choice for everybody. It's novel how that works.
おいシャルマン、お前の様
Though
子バグってる
unfortunately,
んじゃな
a
い
lot
か
of you do
お
not
かし
seem
な
to
こと言い出
realize
したぞ
that. Not gonna lie, I wish more
至って
people
普通の
would
ことを話してると思いますね。
like objectively there are games that I know I will sing the praises of, but I'm also not unaware of their issues. And unfortunately, the thing I find with Linux users, they can't get out of their own fucking way. I'm speaking as a Linux user. Despite my issues with things like Canonical, you know, the guys who make Ubuntu, despite my issues with projects like Linux Mint, despite my issues with projects like Manjaro, etc., I'm not gonna say that they don't have their uses and they don't have potentially fantastic use cases for users. However, my fanboyism for like my particular distro, which is Garuda, does not mean that I am going to recommend Garuda for every single fucking person. Despite a lot of the things that it does right, I'm still not going to recommend it for new users because of the Arch base. A lot of the distros that in my last quote-unquote tier list that I fucking hate making those kind of lists That's why I segmented it very specifically at new users, because they're people who just don't fucking care about technology. And Linux users still don't understand that because they care about technology. So it is almost a foreign concept to a lot of them that there are people that just view this stuff that we're using, you know, this, and all the software that makes it go brum brum, as just a lot of people view it as, I don't care how it works as long as it goes vroom vroom and the end result is the destination I need to be at. I don't care what fucking magic made it get to there. It does kind of irk me when a lot of these people don't seem to understand that.
Negative.
Anyway, enough about the ranting on issues, particularly Linux users.
いい子いい子
So overall, the character design is a lot of the same stuff we've already seen from prior games. Going to a RTS strategy game, interesting, but I'm assuming it very much has a Fire Emblem influence. That's probably why, if I had to guess. Whatever. Like Fire Emblem, I'm hit or miss with. I love Three Houses. I didn't engage. I just can't engage with because like the story just doesn't hook me at all. Very boring to me. So I find that the fact that these guys went with kind of the strategy RPG route, an interesting choice, seeing how the last one was a turn-based RPG.
周囲を巻き込み目標に向かって突き進む力、そういう意味ではファング君はリーダーとして適任だよ。
判断を保留する。
僕もひとまずはファング君が作り出した波に乗ろうと思う。目指す先が
You know, Linux users are like hardcore video game fans. Oh my god, you're not a gamer, you don't play Fortnite. Oh my god, you don't know this weird esoteric stupid thing. You're not a, insert gamer here. Kind of reminds me of Linux a lot of times. Oh my god, you're using Ubuntu, you're not a Linux user. Oh my god, you use a simplified Arch, you're not a Linux user. Oh my god, you know, insert distro here. And fanboyism here. It is so stupid. I've never excuse me, never understood the fascination of being so obsessed with like something that you can't get out of your own way to see why somebody might not be able to enjoy it or understand it or really give two flying fucks about it. There are people who do shit for cars. I give two flying fucks about vehicles, but guess what? I can tell you that if they're passionate about it, then cool for them. Not my cup of tea. It's funny how that works. Yeah. Gaming, like just preferences in general, across the board, doesn't matter what it is. And not having your head impaled up your own ass so far that you can't see a different perspective is kind of a fucking rarity nowadays. Because people want to stay in these fucking siloed bullshit approaches to stuff. Like there are like JRPGs I totally prefer, but that doesn't mean I don't venture out and try other genres. One of my favorite FPSs is Syndicate 2012. One of my favorite like Western style RPGs is besides the like The Witcher 3 or Cyberpunk, is a 2.5D side-scrolling open world cyberpunk game called Dex. But as much as I love the game, I'm not unaware of its problems and why some people might not enjoy it. The combat's a little loose, the movement's a little stiff. Like there are reasons why I could see that. So I think that's kind of a shame a lot of the times, is like people let their love of something get so in the way that they can't see why somebody else might not like it. and that really does deter from people growing into trying other things. So yeah, okay, enough ranting about Linux users and video game users who have so hard encoded their preferences onto their life that, you know, they can't detach from them.
うるせえ早いもん勝ちだ
なら私がも
ほらよ、龍神。シャルマンが気
But
に入ってた
compile
料
heart
理のレ
games,
シピだ。
I would say that if you want to try compile heart games, the best one to probably start with, it really depends on how you
礼
like
を
your
言うバ
games.
ハス
But
今度
honestly,
返
for
礼と
me,
して
the
希
best
少な
one
食
that
材
is
の
like
確保を約束する
got the most unique stuff and kind of combination for what compile heart has to offer is very, very much going to be probably Dragon Star Varnier. There's a serious element to EOM and all the whatever the Steam Deck uses. So the game scope, I'm guessing. I don't honestly really pay much attention to the back end tech spec stuff anymore. Because for those wondering, Steam Deck.
私も少し食べ過ぎちゃったかしら。明日は普段より多めに運動しなきゃね。ダイエットですの？
なんかこんな時間がずっと続けばいいのに。
And again, so I look at Dragon Star Varnier. Usually you can get it fairly cheap. The performance is actually pretty good for it. One thing I will say about specifically Compile Heart Idea Factory games is they are usually optimized terrible. So if you have the opportunity, don't get most of them for Switch. It's gonna be totally real. Their optimization is usually terrible. Like, these are not the most graphically demanding games, and they usually run like dogpile. Example, Death End Request has a frame rate that will bounce around from about 30 to 60 on a Steam Deck. On the Switch, it's about sub 20s. It's like 20 to 25, give or take, on the Switch. Alright, so you can go to the end.
おうロロじゃね
今日はいいネタ見つかったからほんでしょだからお金ちょうだい
それがなきゃもっといい子なんだけどなで、
So,
その情報ってのはなんだ ピューリーの場所でも見つかった
You
の
know,
か
I'll be totally honest. Like I just don't really dig into the back end spec stuff anymore. Like I don't give a crap if someone's playing X or someone's playing on Wayland. It really doesn't matter to
どうか
me.
言ってもちゃんと払
I know, you know, Wayland's the future and all that
う
stuff.
から大好
I've gotten to the point with my technology where I'm just does the crap work at this
ピュー
point.
リーの場所はどこだ
I'm just that
き
user
だ
now.
って話だよ。強いモンスターがうようよしてるらしいからしっかり稼いできてね。
知恵の回廊、どうかなさいましたの、アリンさん。
なんでもない。それじゃすぐに出かけようよ。あれ、シャルマン様は？
そういえば今日は姿を見てへんな。どこか出かけとるんか？へっ、あんなやついらねえよ。とっとと出かけてサクッとお宝見つけちまおうぜ。
お待たせして申し訳ありません。少し野暮用があったもので。
へっ、別に待ってねえよ。
So Elam, just a quick
Fury
Google
のあり
foo
かを
search,
喉から仕入れた。
and the Steam Deck
知恵の回廊に
apparently
行くぞ。
uses Wayland.
知恵の回廊ですか。厄介な場所だと聞いたことがあります。気を引き締めていきましょう。
厄介な場所というのは？
Cool. Can I
完成させたのは
use game scope and
あ
all
の
Wayland?
アルレルトだという話ですから
Wayland's
ね。
protocol.
未知の装置や罠があってもおかしくない。ですから冒険者たちも厄介な場所という認識を持ち入るのを嫌がる人が多いそうですよ。
So my
冒険者のくせ
game
に臆病者とは
scope
笑わせ
is
る。
the Wayland compositor
そこにお
for.
宝があるなら罠なんざ関係ねえって飛び込むのが真の
So
冒険
to
者って
answer
もん
your
だろう。
question, Steam Deck
そ
uses
うです。
Wayland.
無策で
お前ら気を引き締めていけよ。
So hence,
わかりましたから。
I guess you could say,
さっさと
yeah,
出
I'm
発しま
playing
しょう。
on Wayland.
こんなことでは日が暮れてしまいますわ。
All right, so I don't even know how long I've been streaming at this point. Well, a little over an hour, hour 15. So we're gonna give this 15 more minutes and then we're gonna call it a night. Don't even want to ask. We're just gonna fast forward through the adult-oriented stuff. Yes and no. Basically, I already gone through the tutorial and stuff. Some of it was stream-related issues. Yeah, my stream was tanking, as it were. So had to fix that. So that required a few different start stops on OBS and that jazz. Why?
なんですって？ねえ。
どうした？
わかったわ。
はあ？
はあ？そうですわ。
うわ！
This is a raw capture of gameplay from the Steam Deck into OBS. This is docked, so yeah, once it's docked,
こ
it
の新
can.
発売のケーキ美味しそう。こっちは限定発売のシュークリームか。もう絶対美味しいやつじゃない。いいなあ。はあ、雑誌のスイーツ特集なんていくら見てても虚しいだけだわ。なんかお腹空いてきちゃった。バハスに頼んでおやつ作ってもらおうかな。でも太っちゃうかな。
アリン、ここにいたんだな。
あ、ファング、何か用事？
俺にはお前しかいない。
え？何なのよ急に。真剣な顔しちゃってどうしたのよ。
そうだな、驚くかもしれない。でも何度考えても俺にはお前だけなんだ。この気持ちはもう抑えられねえ。俺と付き合ってくれ、アリン。
好き。付き合う？
そうだ、付き合ってくれ。
いやいや、ちょっと待って。それって本当にそのカップルになる的な。
おう、まさにそれだ。カップル上等。
嘘！あんたがそんなこと言うなんて何か罠があるはずよ。
あるわけねえだろ。俺を信じろ。
そりゃ私だって別にファングのこと嫌いじゃないし、パートナーとしても信頼してるし。あんたが本当に心の底から私を求めてくれるっていうなら、付き合うのもやぶさかではないというか。
よし、カップル成立だな。
でも待って、ちょっと急すぎない？もっと心の準備をしたいんだけど。
そんな暇はねえ。2時間限定なんだぞ。
は？何その時間制限。
これを見ろ。
ドルファズ 市新店舗オープン記念
Now, Elam, are you
カッ
asking
プル限定
can you
2時間食べ
stream
放題
directly from the deck?
しかも大トロアワビもあるって書いてあ
Yeah,
る
you
ぞ
can do that, but you're also going to be pegging your system. The deck can record and stream on its
は
own,
抑えられない
like a normal Linux PC or any
で
other
も問題は
PC.
カップル限定ってところだ
But are you really going to do that on an integrated GPU trying to run a
描い
game
てもお前だけだった
and not expect a performance hit?
頼むカップルのふりして付き合ってくれ
あー紛らわしい抑えられなまあ分かってたけどねどうせそんなことだろうと思ったわ
おいアリ
Alright. That's intro. Then we got... That's the world map. Now that's short and concise. So this very much has it's a strategy RPG, visual novel elements, like the story is presented in a visual novel way, but the battle mechanics and whatnot are strategy RPG, a simplified strategy RPG. They're not as complicated as, say, something like a battle system like Record of Agris War or some of the more complicated strategy RPG
ど
games.
うすっかな
Like, as an example, I'll do a free battle just to show you kind of a quick version of the system. Or for probably a better, more accurate comparison, I would say, yeah, it's a much more Fire Emblem, a simplified Fire Emblem. So, like, you have your menu and, you know, how you want to equip out your units and that stuff. Change the difficulty, you can save, you know, create a save game. You have different units you can add. You can change, like I said, you can change the difficulty to however you would like. Start,
サクッ
yes.
と終わらせて俺様の番だ俺様の番
So
だ
then we go and do, you know, we'll do this.
アタックエフェクト
Like I said, very simplified though in comparison to Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem, you have much bigger crowds, much bigger dynamic on the. No permadeath. This is not a permadeath game. Most JRPGs tend not to be permadeath. I think the closest one I can think of for permadeath besides Fire Emblem would be. See, it's either Tactics Ogre or it's going to be Final Fantasy Tactics. It's one of the two.
Attack effect.
また来世新たな俺よっこらせ
アタックエフェクト。
痛いぜまた来世うずうずしてったろアリン来いアリン
Anyhow, you might need more of a Battle Ranger kind of deal going on.
Attack effect.
一瞬で終わらせるんじゃないさあ行くか
アタックエフェクト。
くらえ
歯を食いしばりなさい。
And there you go. That's the battle system, kind of in a nutshell.
楽勝楽勝
And you get, you know, gold and all the other stuff and experience like you would in any other strategy RPG. We'll save, yes. But generically, that's the game in a nutshell. It's if you played Fire Emblem, if you played any of those other kind of games, you'll kind of know how this goes. The world map tends to be more done in the vein of. I'm trying to think of a game. Shining Resonance Refrain probably is probably the closest one I can think of, like from like how you travel the map and stuff. There's kind of a select a location and go, whereas Fire Emblem has more of a pathing, so like a predefined pathing system that has some deviation. This doesn't really have that. So this is deck verified. This does play nice on Linux. Yada yada. You know, all the information that people are going to care about. Not a cheap game though. I got this from the publisher developer. So props out to them. The Idea Factory and Compile Heart. Wow. So this goes for $49.99. If you want to see if you're going to be into this style of game, or even this kind of tropey anime based style of game specifically, I would check out I don't think I have it installed. So that's Refrain. Here we go. So this particular one, if I remember correctly, costs like $20, give or take. It's not Steam Deck verified, but look at ProtonDB and you'll figure out if it's supported. It's been so long since I played this game that I don't honestly remember if it is or isn't. But the overall pricing structure on that, I think, is last I knew it was like $20. Yeah, $20 for about 30 hours, give or take. The DLC bundles really don't do much. It's a lot of cosmetics and a few items and stuff. But like, there's no like new characters or any of that kind of stuff from that. And if you really want to go back to the beginning of the series, there's don't have it right there, so then we have the original, which this goes for like $10, I think. Yeah. So this is like super old though. That will be a game you either like or you do not. So understand the game mechanics are from like 2010, so keep that in mind. Again, some of these games are going to be very, very user specific. You'll either like them or you won't. This will be, honestly, this would be probably where I would start. Would be Fairy Fancer F, because it's got a lower price entry, but it's also older. So your choice really when it comes to that. But other than that, as far as Compile Heart and Idea Factory and Fairy Fancer F Refrain Chord, it's an RPG. It's not bad, it's not good. It's not bad, it's not terrible, it's not amazing though. A couple of things that I think hurt it are the switch to the battle system. While interesting and unique, it's very simplified. The lack of the English voice acting that was in the original, but I get that was more of a call that you have to make about, do you put the game out or not? So I get that. Still, I think the lack of a dub when the prior games were dubbed hurts the game. Just saying. As someone who's played the prior games. Trying to tell if this is like a sequel or continuation or whatever this may be. That would be a little clarification on that in the intro list would be nice. Like they kinda mention it, but not really. It's like, oh, we're from here, and I came here, and the reason I'm here is I got in jail and I'm looking for fencers or fairies and swords and stuff. But like, it doesn't give like a lot of context to the prior stuff. So honestly, I would say right now, I've always liked the artwork. I do like the fact that they try something different. The battle system, initially anyway, within the first 2 hours of the game, very limited. It's a very straightforward strategy RPG of simple proportions. Cool that they still bring in things like the fairy eye stuff. The dub was well done, but I think what hurts it is like fans of the prior games or people who like the prior games, that if you're gonna have a prequel, a sequel, whatever, and your prior games are already dubbed, it hurts the games that follow it when they're not. because you go in expecting them to be. I'm not saying I don't understand the reasons why they're not, because A, it's an added cost, and in this particular game's case, B, it was more about it had to do with the voice actor strike and all that stuff. So I get why it's not there. I'm just saying, I think because of the prior games having it, I think it hurts, the lack of it hurts those of us who are coming from it. And I'm not saying the Japanese voice acting is bad. I'm just saying, like, I think it detracts when it's already been established that there are other voices for the characters for some people. That's all. I would honestly, this is a game I would say I'd wait for a sale. Compile Heart games usually go on sale fairly frequently. They're actually very affordable JRPGs to get into. So something I would definitely look at getting. Because like just even their base games, you'll get 25, 30 hours sometime, like in this game, potentially longer, for gameplay and overall game and how much you want to explore. So that's my take on it. Props again to Compile Heart and Idea Factory for giving me a code to look at this. I'll play it. I like the fact that it was verified for deck. The issues I was having on deck was mostly my fault for having my deck in sleep mode way too long and lack of updating on end user part. So, as usual when it comes to technology, the problem was in between the keyboard and the chair, or the power button and the chair in this case. So other than that, you guys know what to do. Comment, rate, subscribe, and you got that Patreon. All that crap is in the descriptions and in my other videos. You can look at some of my prior live streams where the last one I did, I looked at the revival from Telltale Games, which was for The Expanse. So Telltale is back and they did a episodic release around The Expanse. Really interesting game. Only available on Epic right now, but something tells me that's not going to be a factor, because download Heroic and once you're in there, use Wine Tricks, Proton Tricks, and just install I want to say it's the MSVC, this is the Microsoft Visual Code stuff that you'll need for it to actually run the way it's supposed to, and you'll be good to go. Another game that's probably worth trying, because I know it's on sale right now for like 20 something bucks. Definitely worth it, especially if you're a sci-fi fan like I am. I've thoroughly enjoyed the games. So on that, I'll catch you guys on the flip. Peace.